when we're turning rows, we have to chain and then flip our work. And I chained one, so I'm going to do a single crochet here into the first space, which is the top of the stitch below, and make my single crochet. And then I'm going to do the same in the next one. I go through, yarn over, pull a loop back, yarn over, and pull a loop back, and that's how I make my single crochets. And you can see these are going into the tops of the stitch from below, and there's that last chain from the stitch on the row below, and I form my stitches there. Now when I come to the end of this row, I chained 3 for the double crochet because that first row is double crochet there. So I want to find the top of that chain 3, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the top of it. It's a little bit slippery here, and I'm going to yarn over, pull loop back, and finish my single crochet, and I have a nice edge there. For a half double crochet, I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, and I'm going to go into that first stitch as well and finish my half double crochet. So yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull a loop back, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops at one time, and that's going to give me my half double crochet. Now this chain 2 here is not going to count as my first stitch. So with a half double crochet, if you chain 2 in the beginning, you're going to end up with a bump on the end of every other row. If you don't chain 2, you can do it that way. Just flip your work and then do a double crochet. Just make that first loop a little bit longer, and it works just as well. And then you don't have that extra bulk at the end of the row like you do if you chain 2 first. Okay, and then I always kind of move my stitch over onto the chain 2 so that it makes a nice edge there. Now for a single crochet, double crochet, we would chain 3, turn our work, skip that first one. That chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. Double crochet into the second space, and double crochet across, one more, so I need to get my 5 stitches in there. It's helpful to count too. Okay, now that bump on that half double really is noticeable there, and then you're going to find too that when you chain 3 here and you turn your work and skip that first stitch, go into the next one, because that chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, there's this big hole there. So there's another method that we can use that I'll explain just a moment. So when I get to the end here again, I'm going to go into the top of the chain 3 because that was my first double crochet there of the row. Now you can see there's a hole there because when we chain 3, skip the first one, it leaves a hole. So this is the new way of doing this. You're going to make a chain 1 and kind of a long chain, so pull it just a little bit so you get to the height or close to of a double crochet, and now yarn over and go into that first space and do your double crochet and go across your row, and on this one I chained 3 on that previous row, so I need to find the top of my chain 3, go into the top of it, make my last double crochet on the row. Now you can see here in the beginning where I didn't chain 3, I did that kind of long chain in the beginning. and worked into the first stitch, I don't have a gap, no hole. So again, chain 1, make that a little bit longer, turn your work, and work your double crochet into the very first stitch and work your way across. When you get to the end of your row and you double crochet into the top of your double crochet from the row below, we don't need to worry about the third chain because there isn't a third chain, but the top of the stitch then is there at the end, and we have this really nice edge and no holes. And those are the methods of turning your work and making another row.